Hey guys, I'm really glad Static was canceled. I mean, I was just looking through an old UCHS commander. Look what they said. Another difficulty is that most of the students with technical knowledge of the cameras will be graduating this year. If there's a class next year, they will be really inexperienced due to the loss of seniors, said Glenn Galich. I can't even believe we had the gall to even try to make a show.
No, Adam, look at all this fan mail we have, though. It's incredible. There's like so much. Here, look at this. Look at this one, all the way from Minnesota. Let's see what she has to say. Dear Static, my name is Marianne and I am a dying 7-year-old. I cannot walk, I stay in bed all day, and I eat all my food through straws. Thank God I at least have Static to make all of life seem worthwhile. Thanks a lot, you guys. If the show was ever canceled, I would be heartbroken.
Harsh. Look at this, Adam. Here's another one from Minnesota. Let's see. Oh my, this is from the parents of Marianne. What? Oh no. This says that Marianne was doing fine and improving, but as soon as she found out the show was canceled, she took a turn for the worse and passed away.
You guys, we just gotta keep Static going on. Look at this one letter. Dear Static guys, you are all hot babes. We love you up here in Scrap Hole, Iowa. I started my own Static fan club. Look at this picture she sent of herself. She's naked, too.
Oh my, wow. Like to smurf that babe. Whew.
Hey, but wait, check this one out. Dave Johnson from El Cajon says that his wife was in a coma for 3 years, but when Static came on the air, she jumped out of her bed and started dancing. Can you believe that?
Wow.
Oh, wow.
Miracles.
What a story.
I tell you.
Hallelujah. But what about guys like Bob Mueller, who said it was terrible, and Jim Cathcart, who came out and said the editing was bad, and Kevin Sarwinski, who said, dude, those Smurfs, they were so stupid.
Forget about those guys. Those guys don't appreciate fine work when they see it.
Yeah, they can work doing English if they want.
Yeah, I guess you're right. They're pretty stupid. Hello and welcome to the first Static of the second semester. Sorry it took so long, but now with only 5 people, it took us, 9 weeks. Well, we're sorry about that. Well, if you're wondering what's going on and why Static is still on the air, it's because Mr. Brown took us in out of the kindness of his heart, under his wing, so they say, and now us 5 work on the show first period, so we hope to bring you at least one more show, hopefully 2 more shows. So, for now, let's go to the Static Newsroom with Dan Evans. Dan?
It starts off with this very high-tech syntho-sequency type thing, like this. That's the news. And the strings take the melody. Out of the counter melody.
Hello, I'm Dan Evans, and welcome to the Static Newsroom. Our feature story of the day, terrorism strikes home. As we all well know, a number of months ago, Mrs. Rogers' van blew up less than half a mile away from our school at the University Town Center. This is the most important event to ever happen in University City, and it just might carry worldwide consequences. Let's go to Adam Gimbel with the story. Okay.
This is Adam Gimbel for Static. I'm standing at the scene where today, March 10th, at approximately 7:45 a.m., a van belonging to Miss Sharon Rogers exploded. Sharon Rogers is the wife of Captain Will Rogers of the USS Vincennes, which shot down an Iranian plane earlier this year. Because of the Rogers' involvement with the Iranian plane, it was believed by many to be a terrorist act. Sharon Rogers was driving down Genesee across from University Town Center when she heard two large pops coming from the back of her van, which quickly burst into flames. Mrs. Rogers escaped unhurt, and within a few hours, correspondents from the three major networks, San Diego Police Department, FBI, and other task forces arrived on the scene. What followed was an intense investigation, including a thorough gathering of all loose gravel in the vicinity of the explosion, and resulted in the finding of evidence of a pipe bomb in the rear of the van. At 4 o'clock on Saturday afternoon, they brought in a forklift and turned the van over onto its side. There's a lot of people standing around taking pictures and inspecting the bottom of the van. Later that night, at about 6 o'clock, traffic was let through and everything was back to normal. Or so it seemed. The story still drags on today. To get a more personal side to the story, I went to the Petrou household. The Petrous live directly across the street from the Rogers. Although I got footage of the house and Captain Rogers, an FBI agent asked me not to show any of the footage. Andreas Petrou and his older brother John were outside on the balcony the night before the bombing. They said that they definitely heard someone in the bushes across the street at the Rogers. The day when the I talked with Mrs. Petrou about the day of the bombing.
I didn't know anything about it, as a matter of fact. I was with my friend walking up on Governor Drive. And I came home and I found out that Mrs. Rogers' van was bombed and all this excitement. I didn't believe it. At the beginning I got really scared. I asked if she was okay. They told me she was just fine. And in a couple hours, not even a couple hours, in an hour or so I had the news on and I saw my husband on the station, on the police station, and her to run and hug him, you know. She was panicked, poor lady. I mean, I feel sorry for her. She's a very nice lady.
I talked with Irene, a senior at UCHS, about the security at the Rogers house.
Well, before any of this happened, everything was just normal, and there was absolutely no security. But now we have police patrolling and FBI around a lot of FBI.
There's a car across the street. How often?
FBI car?
Yeah.
Every single moment.
It seems of all the people in the world, the least afraid is Mrs. Petrou.
Not really, because as my Greek background, we have big experience from bombs and all the stuff. During the World War II, I was a very young kid, so I got used to all this excitement.
As I stand here on Genesee over a month after the incident, all that's left is a black scorch mark, a small reminder of the terror that hit University City.
Last month, UCI had its first photography contest. Let's go to the media center for the story.
The winners of the first ever University City High School photo contest were second place black and white, Samson Cho, first place black and white, Rachel Phillips, also first place black and white, Bob Kim, second place color, George Song, and first place color went to Craig Newman. The show was put on by Jacob Glezer and Kathy Mullins, and it attracted some interesting celebrities. I'm standing here with the legendary News 8's Hal Clement, and we're wondering, first of all, what brought you here? How did you hear about the contest?
Well, your teacher called me. Actually, I got a message from Kathy Mullins saying that there was a very interesting photo show here, and Joe Wiedemann, one of our photographers who has spoken to Kathy's class in the past, said that he had heard it was excellent too. And so we thought we'd come down and see it. It's a little unusual. We do photo shows every now and then, art shows, that sort of thing, but to have a whole show at a high school was something different. And
so
this beautiful.
So this is going to be on Words and Pictures?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely. If our photography turns out, you never know. I mean, it could be, there could be just nothing but black screen.
A picture we've all heard is worth 1,000 words. Well, tonight we're going to show you some special pictures that are also worthy of Hal Clement's words. He's here now with his Words and Pictures segment.
Well, these pictures are a lot better than my words, trust me. We've covered a number of photographic exhibits before, names like Ansel Adams, Edward Weston, but this exhibit was at University City High School, and all the photographers were students there.
It was supposed to be a way for students to express themselves. It turned out to be just that. From images of Old Glory flapping in the breeze to a pair of yellow sneakers.
The thing that strikes you here is the diversity. It's not just pictures of friends or landscapes or sunsets. There's really a little bit of everything.
From black and white to color, to black and white with color. The photos were judged by a panel of teachers. Rachel Phillips won a blue ribbon for this.
I didn't want to take pictures of everyday objects like stamps and dollar bills and things like that.
Craig Newman's photos concentrated on flowers, even though he usually takes pictures of people.
I just like close-ups. That's one of the things I do with people also is extreme close-ups because you get a different perspective.
Bob Kim says he wants to make a statement with his photographs. He's been interested in photography since he was 4 when he found his dad's Instamatic.
I was really interested how you could look through the camera and the images would be different from how you see in real life. So I dunked it in water to see if it would still do that. And it didn't. So that still remained with me until the time I was in 6th grade. And then I took my father's more expensive camera and I dunked that in water.
He doesn't stick cameras in water anymore. He uses them for their intended purpose. A lot of the photographs here demand an extra look. It takes a while to realize this is a row of lockers. And look at the eyes superimposed on top, perhaps pondering the scene below. And at first glance, hard to realize this is a building. Jacob Glezer took this, and it was his idea to have the photo competition. In this age of video and camcorders, Jacob still has respect for the still photograph.
Photography tends to capture a moment at a certain time, and I think that's a really important element.
The PTSA felt suicide was a relevant subject in University City, so a forum was held. Tim Chapnell has the story.
The first speaker was Dr. Ken Green, a psychologist who deals with people who are considering suicide. He listed signs to watch for, such as sudden changes in diet, ability to concentrate, and relationships with their peers.
I'll try to answer that. One of the misconceptions, it seems to me, about suicide is that we very often are a victim of it, or there are victims of it, and see it as an event. And it more likely is a process.
The second speaker was Ms. Sally Tucker, a representative of San Diego City Schools. She assured parents that Emergency Procedure 72 and prepared school counselors are effective in preventing suicide. Dick Wentz, a member of Survivors of Suicide, told the chilling story of living through the suicides of 2 of his children.
Suicide is a tragedy that happened to someone else. There's never even a thought in my mind that one of my blood relatives would commit suicide.
The War Room is one of the new clubs on campus this year. Dan Bachatra went to take a closer look at these soldiers of intellect. This is the War Room. Once a week, students get together to debate a controversial issue. The group was started by sophomore Adam Karp to get a chance to discuss current events with fellow students. The War Room is divided into 2 separate sides. On one side sit those who are for any given issue, such as laboratory testing on death row criminals.
The death sentence for most states is like 30 billion years because they never get killed. And they're just sitting here wasting our tax dollars while we could be testing them instead of animals.
Those who are against the issue sit on the opposite side of the room.
Killed, or else we would have killed them. That's the reason they're there. They're not there because we just let them sit there for 10 years. We're going to kill them. Just giving them the right.
Among those topics they've discussed in the past include nuclear waste, the song of the satanic verses, and gun control. So if you're ever in the mood to fight it out over an issue, drop by and visit the War Room. Prom Aid will be held on April 14th this year, featuring a musical entourage of talent. Also, in a surprise move, Roberto's just changed their already secure security cameras. I'm Dan Evans, and let's go back to static.
I'm embarrassed to say this, but it was Screaming for Vengeance by Judas Priest.
Blondie's... Oh, shoot. Blondie...
The Tide is High.
The Tide is High. Blondie's The Tide is High.
It would have to be Lubricated Goat. Lubricated Goat sings the devil's music. That was when I first got into Lubricated Goat.
First album I ever bought was, I'd say 404. Jukebox Hero.
Recently, 2 UC High students have become minor celebrities. We now go to UCSD for the story.
Hello. This is the Kids on Coffee show here on 95.7 FM cable KSDT.
5:40 a.m. in the dorms.
And on UCSD campus.
Okay, that was Can't Decide by Black Flag.
Before that, we had the song I Hate the Radio by the group.
For the past few months, 2 UCHS students have been doing a radio show on the UCSD radio station KSDT. Matt, Page, and Alex Kluzner host a hardcore punk radio program called The Kids on Coffee Show, taken from the song Kids on Coffee by the band The Descendants. After several months of hosting a very late-night time slot, 4 to 6 in the morning to be exact, this week it will start in the new 12 to 2 Saturday night time slot. We talked to Matt Page about the show. Matt, yes. How long have you been doing the show?
Okay, this is our second quarter. Our first show of the new quarter starts next week, or actually, by the time this comes out, it probably won't make any difference. But we're basically starting our second quarter right now.
Okay, tell me a little bit about the station.
Okay, KSTT is a completely alternative station. There's a main guideline that runs through the programming here, and that's that we don't want to play the music that you can hear on other stations. So we're basically playing everything different. We have a bunch of specialty shows, including ours. We play punk/hardcore type music, but there's also a jazz show, a classical show, a heavy metal show, a rap show. There's basically something for everyone on KSTT. And the regular DJs play stuff that is just really popular here from the listener suggestions. They play stuff that's quoted popular by that, but basically none of it you'll hear on 91X or KGB or Q106 or anything else. It's pretty much a completely alternative station.
What kind of listener response have you gotten?
Okay, since our old time spot was from 4 to 6 on Saturday mornings, we didn't have a whole lot of listeners. We get a few people calling, and they enjoyed the show, and we get requests, but it wasn't a whole lot. I'd say about half the callers who called in were from UCSD campus, where you can pick this up free, and the other ones were people listening to it on cable radio. We had callers from Pacific Beach, OB, and from around different parts of San Diego. But hopefully our number of listeners will go way up with our new time slot.
Do you have any other plans for the show in the future?
Okay, we've been having a lot of bands on lately. We've had Sub Society, Funeral March, Fishwife, and some other San Diego punk bands come in and talk and play records. In a few weeks, we're going to have Amenity come in the studio. They're a pretty big San Diego punk band, and we're just going to try and keep getting bands to come in here and play their music. We want to get other bands to send us their demos and their music so that they can get a chance to play their stuff on the air, because it's really hard for a lot of these alternative bands to get started because they don't get much exposure through the media or through the radio or anything like that. So we would really like to give a chance to these new bands who have a demo or a 7-inch or something out and they want to play. We'll be happy to play their stuff here if it fits in the category of our show.
So listen to the Kids on Coffee show Saturday nights / Sunday mornings from 12 to 2 on FM 95.7 if you have cable, and 5:40 a.m. if you're on campus.
Be tuning in especially to hear our show, and that's really our main goal here, is to get people listening to our show because they know it's our show and they want to listen to it, and just provide music for the people who you can't get on the radio elsewhere.
Okay, thanks a lot.
Sure, thanks for coming down.
What was the first album you ever bought?
Business as Usual by Men at Work.
What was the first album you ever bought?
Well, basically and theoretically,
I think it was Eddie Murphy Delirious, man. Okay, because that's my boy. That's my boy. He's bad.
Okay.
Thanks a lot, man. Glad to be here.
Sesame Street Fever.
Really?
Yeah.
Fever?
Really, with Gonzo in the middle, you know, going like that.
Gonzo's not on Sesame Street, he's on The Muppet Show.
But he was on it anyways.
It has got to be the Pointer Sisters. I'm telling you, they were great, the Pointer Sisters. Ever since I was 5 years old, I've been a dancing fiend. Thank you.
Sucks, dude.
Thank you.
Flight 209er, you are cleared for takeoff.
Roger. Huh?
LA departure frequency 123.9er.
Roger. Huh? Request vector. Over. What?
Flight 209er, clear for vector 324.
We have clearance, Clarence. Roger, Roger. What's our vector, Victor?
Tower radio clearance, over.
That's Clarence, over. Over. Roger. Huh?
Roger, over.
What? Huh?
Who?
Airvowinkle. For those who pretend to play basketball.
Oh, my first album was Fame, I Want to Live Forever. Because the movie had Irene Cara naked, and I thought maybe the album would too.
Orgasmic sex noises.
The first album, I think it was about the Swedish group ABBA. You know the Swedish group ABBA? Of course you do.
Of course we do.
Yes, that was my first album, I think.
Okay.
Rapper's Delight by Sugar Hill Crew.
NWA.
NWA.
Eazy-E.
What was the first album you ever bought?
It's the first album I ever bought.
No. No, the first album you ever bought.
First album.
No, the first album.
Alvin and the Chipmunks, My Christmas.
Here's my good friend, Spencer Peller. Here's my good friend, Spencer, with faculty profile.
Hello and welcome to the first edition of Faculty Profile. I'm Spencer Peller and I'll be your host. Every static show will be profiling a new teacher at UCHS. Recently we were lucky enough to talk to one of the school's counselors, Dr. Wally Keating, and here's what he had to say. First of all, Dr. Keating, how long have you been a counselor?
Specifically, student counseling, 16 years. Before that, I was parent counselor at a previous school for 2 years, so a total of 18 years.
How long have you wanted to be a school counselor?
I suppose that's a difficult question to answer because I've been in a position of what you might call counseling most of my life. I served in the Marine Corps for a long time, and essentially, when you get to be a commissioned officer, you are counseling all the time. Advising people and also teaching. You're either teaching or you're learning, one of the two.
Have you noticed any changes from when the school opened to now?
Oh, not really. Changes, of course, on the campus. The trees are growing, and we no longer have that bare, dusty look that we had when we first opened. But when we did open, I think that most of us here, or all of us here, opened with a commitment to try to make this a very friendly school in which all kinds of people could enjoy getting their education. And I still see that atmosphere. I've seen it growing with the years, and now it's become part of the tradition of the school, I think, that we're all here, each with a specific purpose, and the staffs to provide the best education we possibly can, and for the students, we hope to get the best education they could get.
Thank you very much, Dr. Keating, for the interview.
Thank you very much.
This has been Faculty Profile with Spencer Peller. On the next show, we will be talking to another exciting faculty member here at UCHS. Thanks for watching.
When I come to University City High School, I always watch static. I get static too, but I always watch static, and it makes me wish that when I was in high school, we had television cameras, but of course when I was in high school, television hadn't been invented yet.
I think it should be big.
Yeah.
Like this big.
Really real big.
And the music needs to be big.
I think it should be in an auditorium.
I think it should be
loud.
Definitely.
But
wait, what school?
What school?
This school.
And hosts. We need good hosts.
Hosts.
Quality hosts.
Quality. Big host.
Well, what should we call it?
Prom Aid.
Prom Aid.
Prom Aid.
I think we should call it Prom Aid.
Prom Aid. We'll call it Prom Aid.
First album I ever bought was Michael Jackson's Off the Wall. Michael Jackson Thriller, absolutely. That was the first one, I'm not kidding. Grease, because Olivia Newton-John is really nice.
Oh, Grease. Grease.
I bought Grease when the movie came out.
Grease.
I may be wrong, but I strongly suspect that it was a soundtrack from the TV show Zorro. You remember Zorro?
Yeah.
I would have to say it's this album called Let's Disco. It teaches you how to dance. I wanted to be popular, so I bought it.
Awesome. What was the first album you ever bought?
Leave me alone, I'm studying Spanish.
By who? This next segment was thought by some to be offensive. However, we did not mean for this segment to be offensive in any way. It was only to serve as a parody of tabloid TV and the issues it deals with. And now it's time for Donaldo.
What? What are you talking about?
Oh, I'm sorry. I meant it's time for Geraldo.
University City High School. What seems to be a school of strong academics, good athletic teams, a normal suburban high school. But our crew discovered a darker side, a hotbed of satanic activities. What started off as hot tamales being sold in the student store, then a Devil Went Down to Georgia air band, escalated into a full-blown satanic cult. Controversy started when we discovered subliminal messages in the morning bulletins.
Seniors, don't forget to pick up your t-shirts in the financial office. They are covered with red.
Then we realized that when said backwards, the Centurion alma mater reveals satanic messages.
Satan, I love you.
We talked with a former member of the UCHS Satan Club. To protect the identity of this woman, we changed her name to Mary. However, her real name is Bridget Burke, 6876 Fisk Avenue, San Diego, California, 92122. That's Bridget Burke, 6876 Fisk Avenue, San Diego, California, 92122. Now, Mary, why did you get into the cult?
Well, it was pretty much a family tradition. I mean, my grandmother and my mom, they both joined cults when they were in high school, and well, I thought it would be a solid extracurricular activity, you know, a good experience and an enriching project, but it didn't turn out that way, and I wasn't aware of the things that they did before I joined.
Yes, we know all that, but what we really want to know is, were you aware of the things they did before you joined?
No, I had no idea what they did. I mean, they sacrificed goats in the quad at midnight and read verses from the satanic books, and it was horrible. I wasn't aware of anything that they did. They took it too far.
We spoke with Satan President Joe Nadeau, who wished to keep his eyes anonymous.
Now, many people put the cult clubs down in America today, but let me tell you something. It brings a bunch of lonely people together with one cause. Otherwise, these people would be fighting each other. But no, we are together thinking of one thing only. We are not enemies, but we are friends with the Satanic Cult Club of UCHS.
They should be stopped now. They've gone too far. It's not fun anymore. It's not a neighborly thing. You can't make friends that way. We can't even have our picture in the yearbook.
She's just making excuses. She was an inactive member. I mean, she did nothing. She was pessimistic about the whole idea of the Satanic Club. I don't understand why she's just making this all up. People lie because they're jealous. They're jealous of our cause. because they don't have what we have.
Their methods were inhumane. They were cruel.
Yeah, right, whatever. You're just a sniveling, whining, spoiled little brat.
I am not.
R2?
I am not.
R2? R2?
Our crew discovered what ended up being a cheer dance of Hizzy Shed of Winter was actually supposed to be a virginal sacrifice.
Isn't this the Young Hate Monger show?
No, it's next week.
Oh, sorry.
It's so unfair that the administration wouldn't let us do this stunt. I mean, it's not offensive in any way at all.
Not offensive? She's bleeding to death. Is she okay?
She's fine. What? She's just in a trance, but it doesn't hurt her at all. See, watch. Leslie?
Hidden cameras revealed a secret meeting of the UCHS Satan Club. When we captured them on film, they were making plans for their annual field trip. Our task force went to work. Let's go, guys. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. This is it. This is our big moment. This is our big moment. Ready? Let's go. Come on.
It's locked. It's locked.
All right, follow this way. Yeah.
Excuse me.
Ready? Ready, guys? Ready? Ready? Go! Party's over, slide bags! Party's over! Get them over there! Do you have any comments, sir? Do you have a comment, sir? Sir, do you have a comment?
Satan power, Satan!
Sir, do you have a comment?
Die! Satan is with us. He'll get us through this, mister.
Excuse me, sir. Do you have any comments, sir? Obviously, our raid is a smashing success. Once again, we have succeeded in uncovering a corrupt America. Until next week, I'm Geraldo.
Well, it's 1:55 in the morning, the day before Static is supposed to come out.
The day Static is coming out.
This day Static, it's today. Static is coming out today.
You're seeing us probably 5 hours before you're seeing us again on the screen.
If you didn't like the show, you know, that's fine, but we put a lot of work into this.
Take that into account.
Take it into account.
A for effort.
Thank you. So that's it for the show, and see you next time.
And we promise it'll come out earlier.
Yeah, true.
I'm staring at a camera.
The first record I ever bought was Def Leppard Pyromania, and obviously my musical tastes have changed for the better. The first album I ever bought was The Game by Queen, and it featured such classics as Another One Bites the Dust, Crazy Little Thing Called Love, and I bought it because I liked those two songs and they looked really cool on the front cover with their leather jackets and sunglasses. and Satan.
Oh, this is Spencer Peller. I'm sorry that the words I'm saying aren't matching the way that my mouth is moving, or that I'm not in my room. But the first album that I ever bought, Men at Work, business as usual.
The first album I ever got was an album I always lived by. That is Village People, Live and Sleazy.
Hi, how you doing? Welcome to my room. Well, you know, the first album I ever bought is kind of a tough question. The first album I really ever had, I think it was this one. Let's see here. Oh, here it is. Sing Along for Children, Volume 1. Now, I don't know if there was ever a Volume 2, but this was pretty good. The first album that was ever bought for me was the Beatles' The Blue Album. And I would show that to you, but Sarah Kavashni's been borrowing it for about 3 months. So if you're watching, Sarah, please go back. And, but the first album I really ever bought was this Grammy-winning album, you know? They say Aussies can't make music. I beg to differ.
Well, thanks a lot, Dr. Keating, for doing the interview with us, and back to the studio.
Thank you, Maury.